Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Al-Rakak, Dash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders, great most honorable world. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Paya Allah, and this is News and Prophecy and News Update. The date today is the 5th, I believe it is. Yeah, the 5th of February, Sunday the 5th of February. And I got a couple articles here. I just want to go into it and filter it through the prophetic words of the Bible. Testimony of Yahushua, the spirit of prophecy. So this is one of the, Paul spoke of it as being, one of the highest forms, highest gifts that he can be bestowed, being that of prophesying. So this is from Zero Hedge. It reads, UK's nudge unit pushes various online psyops when people shop to build net zero society. So I'm just going to jump to the point, all right, and, go in the spirit. So it says, and they don't seem to care if, let me read a little before. The problem that Behavioral Insights team, aka Nudge Unit, has found for itself to solve is a part of the climate change narrative, where achieving net zero means doing away with greenhouse gas emissions. So basically, this Behavioral Insights team, BIT, all right, otherwise known as Nudge Unit, what they're doing is they're basically using what's this thing called? This prompting unit, which basically manipulates people. As it says, various forms of psychological manipulation, because it's used as psyop, psychological operation. All right, it's basically manipulating the people to benefit for the greenhouse, the climate crisis, whole agenda. Even recently, you had General Biden, President Biden basically come out and say that by 2050, they want to have people restricted to how much movement they can make in their vehicles. Vehicles being electronic vehicles as well. Various different things are part of their agenda. But, basically they want to bring people back into a lockdown where you have a certain amount of credits whereby you're allowed to, or a certain amount of whatever it is, unit they want to measure it by, that you're just allowed to go outside, use your car, do this, do that, and the other, all right, under the basis of climate control and all that, working with the society, with the earth, all right, when there really is just other means of transport, all right, it's really just Esau playing God and monitoring your movement, all right, and the people are too dumb to even realize, put two and two together. Why have I got to stay at home? Right? Because they're being manipulated, as it says. And they don't seem to care if the way to get there is through direct manipulation of people, specifically online, via prompts, nudges toward making choices that are not really theirs but serve the agenda. Now, stepping away from the whole climate crisis, this is the point, all right, that they have a unit, organization that's basically being used, a team that's being used to manipulate the minds of the people for anything within their agenda. Now, one of the main things that's part of their agenda is shutting up the mouth of the prophets, all right, because they stand in total opposition to all that they're doing right now, all right. We're on the opposite side of the spectrum. The fact that, and this is the thing, on a higher level, beyond all of this, third dimension shit, Esau understands one thing and one thing alone. He knows that the prophets on the right-hand side serve to a great hindrance to them establishing their agenda. All right, so all this, what they're saying, it's all well and good. But the real top enemy to their agenda and what they have going on is the prophets of the Lord, because they're scared that the Heavenly Father, as it says in the book of Jeremiah 16:16, I'll send for many fishers and they shall fish them, all right? And really, I'm quoting these scriptures and I may read them in a moment, but basically, it speaks in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, it said, or in the book of Revelations, actually, it speaks about after 3 days and a half, they stood on their feet. And let me read it, because it's a powerful scripture. Okay, so this is Revelations 11 and I'll start from 11 and 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. All right, and that was the valley of dry bones. All right, whereby basically the children of Israel were stripped of their nationality, all right, and put into subject to slavery, according to the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, whereby also we discontinue from our heritage, as it tells you in the book of Jeremiah, and what Paul spoke of being that there's a falling away first. All of these things spoke prophetically in the book of Genesis, the 49th chapter, about what would befall us in the last days, and also in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which all these prophecies about putting a yoke on our neck, being in a, send someone that, speak a language that you never knew, all these types of things, right, came to pass. That was our dead bodies being, because it tells you in the book of Proverbs 21 and 16, he that walketh out the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Right, so we became a no people, dead, a dead people. Verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. All right, these two prophets, as many means as many, it's like double multiple entendres to that. I'll just say a few, Moses, Elijah, the kingdom of Israel, and the kingdom of Judah. All right, the northern and southern kingdom. But the point being is that when we were in our right mind, we tormented all the heathen nations. So that's why you go to the book of Psalms 83, they rejoice that are full. All right. Verse 11. Now, this being a point. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. Going from the 350 years, going back to 1492, something around that time, 1490, around that time, to the time of, actually, I'm quoting the wrong time, excuse me. Which I'm gonna have to brush up on that, man. But basically, the 350 years is dealing with from 1970 to the time of 350. I believe it is after 1490, 1492, around that period, give or take, around that period. All right. So basically, it was dealing with that. All right, where the Lord, ultimately, Abba Bivens, High Priest Abba Bivens, basically got the word and broke everything down and set the ball in motion towards the understanding of the word, all right, and us waking up, all right, out of being those dry bones. And after 3 days and a half, spirit of life of the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them that saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. But the point being is that what? Great fear fell upon them when, we stood upon our feet, because they have the records. They knew everything that we did. So it serves in their best interest for us to not have this word. And to a greater point, this is when you're going to have the vilificate, the making us using words that escaping me right now. Salakia, man. But basically, they're going to vilify us. All right, make us out to be the villain, the bad guys, right? And tout big, lies about us as to where, they put certain titles upon us so that in the eyes of the world we'll be deemed unsavory, all right? And whatever they want to do with us, the people will be with it. Because why? Because of this nudge unit, manipulating the minds of the people. So I'll read a little bit more. It says, These are all examples of what the report aims to affect from the behavioral perspective, and clearly the solution is to actively push citizens towards social transformation. We've been seeing that with political correctness. In this sense, the report recommends putting prompts in apps that would seek to direct the user order, less take away food through the critics might call reality transformation. One suggestion is changing the name of small portions to regular portions. So let me read. I got like two scriptures bouncing around in my head. I'll knock them out. I got a couple actually, but I'm trying to just get to the point. Just streamline the point so you get. All right. I'll read this first. I feel like this one's better though. Trying to organize my thoughts. Lucky, man. So this is a book of Matthew 10. I start from 16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you." All right? So that's one of the main things, all right? This is going to, these prompts are going to make as to where people look at the brothers in the faith as what? Villains, all right? And it's going to rouse the people up, but it's going to be to their own condemnation, because we're going to be brought forth, whatever man it is, and condemn them to their face, all right, and cut them through the Spirit. So move on. So I'll read a bit of this. This is Amazon One palm-based payment method. Amazon introduced palm-based device called Amazon One, using which, with just a wave of your palm, you can enter a building, prove your identity, and pay for purchases at stores. The device works by recording the user's palm signature. Then consumers can connect their credit card number or membership number, which is stored in a high secured area in a cloud, where Amazon will create a palm signature. It helps in simplifying consumer experiences and creates new possibilities for faster payments, especially for busy stores. All right, so this is basically an imitation of that MOTB technology, waving over the hand. And this is basically just readying the minds of the people. It's conditioning their minds to think a certain way, behave a certain way, and have a certain relationship with money, so that when gradualism. So when that MOTB rolls around, the people will be fully with it. All right. So let's read this. It's the book of Revelations 13. I'll get straight to the point. Well, I won't actually. I'll start at 14. "And he deceiveth them that dwell upon the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live." All right, so many of the people upon the earth are going to be deceived, all right, because Esau's been loose in this last season, all right. to deceive the nations. All right. So in doing so, there's many that's gonna be taken away by in such a manner, because why? Their name is not written in the book of life. All right. But the ones that are not going to be swept away by that are going to be those of the elect, which are written in the book of life. All right. So I read mid verses as saying to them that dwell upon the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. So following in that mindset, and these things are building towards this is forging, or should I say, it's establishing that image of the beast. These forms of technology, these mindsets, the thing I mentioned about the whole nudge unit, is basically forming that image whereby everyone's going to conform to and pattern themselves after. Verse 16, and it causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that being the main point. All right. Obviously, why would they have it in their foot or various parts of their body? Because they might not have a right hand. They might not have a hand, sorry. All right. So they have it in somewhere, in their body, in their person, to be able to do what? Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. So this is conditioning the minds of the people to what? Scanning. All right. For payment. Okay. So I'll finish with this one. Kind of jump straight to the point. Kind of long-winded, but I'll read a little bit. So it says, so this is from Zero Hedge. It says, the Chinese spy balloon story as manufactured crisis, an alternative reading. All right. So basically, this is one of the so-called big things going on right now. It's all BS anyway, but it serves to part of them forwarding their agenda. All right, which leads into prophetic scriptures being brought to life. So first, the U.S. story. China sent a spy balloon over highly strategic U.S. sites. It chose to spy on these sites with a big visible balloon, reported as being as big as multiple school buses, which is large, man. That's crazy. Anyone can see it with the naked eye from the ground to demonstrate it had the capability, despite having a plethora of other more discreet ways to spy, like satellites and stealth drones. All right. Unclear that anyone doubted China had mastered the technology of check notes, hot air balloons, and why it therefore needed to demonstrate this capability. China chose to do so on the eve of the Secretary of State's Blinken visit to China, where he was invited, and hours after signaling Blinken would also be meeting in Xi during his visit, a high-level meeting not granted to any U.S. Secretary of State in years. All right. The story, therefore, being that China chose to disrupt a meeting with its own president and to sabotage its own efforts to... Now I've got to look up that word.
Détente.
The easing of hostility or strain